So I'm happy with this newsletter, but I'm going to show you a couple of the other sections that we haven't utilized. So first we have the link table. This is a way of adding three buttons across from each other, and the main reason we're seeing this getting used is if you have multiple suburb reports. So by that I mean if I click on here to create, I could go in here and I could build a link to each suburb report. So for example, I'll call this one Nunda. If I had a link for that, I'd put it behind it, and then if I hit create again, I could do something like, let's go to Toombul, and I can have up to 3 across. If you want to add any more, you just drag another link table underneath. But it's a good way of, if you did like a whole region of suburb reports that you want to promote, this is one of the ways that I would recommend using it. So let's just call this one Northgate. So then if they click through, they'd be going to that link that would be put at the bottom of that section. The other one that can be used is this social media link. I can drag this into the template, and essentially it's just a banner that has all the social media icons that you want to use. So if I click here to add social media, I could go in there and add a Facebook link, LinkedIn, Instagram, and so on. You can edit how these look as well, so you can change like the colors and everything like that. So I've just added the Instagram one just so I can show you, but like I can even change the style. So let's just change that to, so I think I just changed the same one, sorry. So if I change it to floating instead, you'll notice it changes it in there. So you can actually edit these as well. However, I'm not super interested in using these couple of ones in this newsletter. However, you do have some other sections that can be used as well. You will also notice our agent card as well. I kind of brushed on that at the start. However, just again, if you need to change any of the details, it has to be in the My Details section up here. If you need to change anything in the footer, that appears in the template style. So these are like your big changes, so I can change all my backgrounds or all my colors for a certain section and stuff like that. I brushed a fair bit on this in the template builder, so if you do want to make any bulk changes, you can do that here. However, I would recommend having that set in the template ready for you to go. But if you did want to maybe alter the footer, so let's just say we want to change the footer background color, we could then change it to, let's just go the green. If you want to change it back, so obviously that doesn't look too good, let's just change it back to that blue we were using before. There we are. So now that we're happy with it, I recommend always hitting preview. You'll notice all of those add sections create, all of those will disappear, and I can also go in here and test the links. So I'm pretty happy with this. It's a combination of a bit of content, I've got my properties, but then I also have those links to those current properties that I can see as well. Once you're happy with that, hit send, and we can go through the sending process. So the initial one is the first step we have to go through is who we're sending to. So we can send to the entire subscriber list, so that will go out to everyone, which is what you probably do for a newsletter style content. After that we have groups, so these are either iRealty managed groups, so you've been importing them into certain categories and things. However, we can get these from your CRM depending on how it's set up, or what you have set up. So for example, for Vault, if they're in a category, they'll be received as a group for us. Agent Box, we receive contact class. Rex, we receive mailing list, and so on. If you have any questions about that, feel free to give us a call or send us an email, and we can let you know how you'll need to set those up to come through to us via the integration. Next is smart filters. So I'll go into, if you need to learn a bit more about these, I recommend watching the video on smart filters. Essentially these are dynamic groups or iRealty setup groups that can incorporate a few other things as well. After that we have two options that are essentially the same, and that's specific email address and test recipient. The only difference is if I hit test, which I recommend you doing if you are testing links and things, is we won't send obviously the agent's leads, who's clicking on what. We won't do as much tracking because it's not necessary. Today I'm going to use the specific email address just so I can show you the rest of the steps, because if you hit test it will autofill the information. So if I hit next, now I'm choosing where the agent comes from. We can have agent's name and email address. So essentially it will be who I'm assigned to. I will be receiving the content from them. However, there is also, I could type in the below name and email address. That should autofill to who you're logged in as. But just today I'll just do that option because I want to receive it from the support email. After that, I have the subject line. So here is, it will autofill to the title we chose at the start. However, I can change this so that it will be received as July newsletter or so on. There's also an email preview text, so that would appear in your inbox straight after the subject line. So it could be something like check out our new newsletter, check out our monthly newsletter, something like that. However, you don't need to include if you don't want to. Finally, we have the schedule. So if you have it done today but you wanted to send out tomorrow, you can do that. Just be wary, once you hit send, all this information is locked in. So if you make a change to this property, it won't come through to the email. It will come through to iRealty, but just not the email, because we can't have changes happening once something's scheduled. But once you have you're happy with everything, it gives you a little bit of a checklist, hit send, and you've just sent your first email with iRealty. If you have any issues or any questions, feel free to always get in touch, give us a call, send us an email. We're always happy to help. Otherwise, congrats on sending your first email, and enjoy the rest of your day.